All right, we have a weight going down this way. I'm going to call that weight, but I'm going to put this little symbol on it to say it's a vector because I can't bold very well when I'm in handwriting mode. And then I'm going to label this 500 pounds. I'm going to label it 500. Now, if this thing is staying still, and it is, it means that this tension right here and this tension right here, they're going to have to be equal to that weight. We're going to call this tension 1. You're going to put a little vector symbol on that. Let's try that again. That was ugly. We're going to put a vector symbol on it, and we're going to put a little vector symbol on T2 like that. So we're going to say that the weight is going down 500 pounds, but it's actually not going anywhere, which means that T1 plus T2 have to be equal to that. It is notable that a typed vector is bold, but in handwriting, you need to use the symbol to show me that it's a vector. Sometimes you might see something like this. It's perfectly fine. This is the one we're going to go with in this class. So anything that is handwritten, any homework that is handwritten, any tests that are handwritten, anything that's handwritten, if it's a vector, it needs to have a vector symbol on it. We're going to look at these things piece by piece. So I'm going to draw a dotted line down here, and I'm going to focus on this piece first. I'm going to focus on the part that has the T1 in it. So here's what we know so far. T1, make sure to give it vector notation, is equal to. Now, I need to add up the two pieces, the horizontal component and the vertical component. So the way that we're going to say the horizontal component would be the magnitude of T1 cosine of 60 degrees because it's the horizontal component, and then give it an I with a vector symbol plus the magnitude of T2. Because this one's the vertical component, we're going to take the sine of 60 and a little j component since it's the vertical part. So I need to add these two things up. Well, luckily we know the cosine of 60 and we know the sine of 60. So we're going to say that t sub 1 is equal to cosine of 60 is 1/2 magnitude of T1 I plus the sine of 60 is the square root of 3 over 2 in the magnitude of T2 j. So far, so good? Now let's look at the vector T2. So we want to look at this one right here. But notice how my 60 degrees is back 60 degrees. So if I put this on a coordinate plane, looking at just this triangle right here, this one, then my cosine would be negative, but my sine is positive. And the way that's going to affect us now is when we write up t sub 2, the little vector symbol, that's equal to negative the magnitude of T2 cosine of 60 I plus, because my sine is the same direction as it was before, up t sub 2 sine of 60 j. So my cosine needs to change, but my sine doesn't. So that's t sub 2. That's equal to negative 1/2 magnitude of T2 I plus, let's see, forgot to put it in there. We got the square root of 3 over 2. Now those values didn't change, it's just the direction of our horizontal component changed because one of them was going to the right and the other was going to the left. T2 j. Make sure that things that are vectors say that they're vectors. All right, in a physics class, it is super important for you to understand that this weight right here, this weight, is a negative 500 J. negative because it's going down, j because it's a vertical component. It's really important for you to recognize that that's negative, and your two counterbalances right here, you have your T1 and you have your T2, that those together, and we say that those together this way, that those together are the counterbalances, that's why it's negative, of weight, which means that this is T1 plus T2 is equal to negative 500J. That idea is really important for you to get. Now, blah, 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 blah. The meat of this, I want you to get that T sub 1 plus T sub 2 is equal to 500J. Mathematically, you can see why. But the idea is that it's holding up 500 pounds, and it's holding up positive 500 pounds. Now that we have them in long form, we can start putting together our horizontal components and our vertical components. I've color-coded T sub 1 green and T sub 2 blue. So we have 1/2 T sub 1, magnitude of T sub 1, I, and then plus, and negative 1/2 the magnitude of T sub 2. Oh, I forgot an I right here, didn't I? I. And that's equal to 0I, because the weight is not moving left and right. Also, we know that we have the square root of 3 over 2, T sub 1, J, and then plus square root of 3 over 2, T sub 2, the magnitude of that, J, equals 500J. So let's add the blue part to the other side. I'm going to go back to everything's black now. And 1/2 T sub 1 I is equal to 1/2 magnitude of T sub 2 I. And from this, we get that the magnitude of T sub 1 is equal to the magnitude of T sub 2, which is logical. Now the vertical components. So the square root of 3 over 2, T sub 1, J, plus the square root of 3 over 2, T sub 2, J, equals 500J. But T sub 1 and T sub 2, we just found out, were the same thing. So let's get rid of this and say that this is really also T sub 1. Well, if I'm adding this and this together, that means that I have the square root of 3, T sub 1, J, equals 500J. Which means that T sub 1 could just as well be written as the magnitude of T sub 1 can be written as 500 over the square root of 3. All right, let's review what we know. We know that the magnitude of T1 must be equal to the magnitude of T2, and both of those are equal to 500 over the square root of 3. But they ask us to find T sub 1 and T sub 2. Well, T sub 1 is 1/2 times the magnitude of T sub 1. This would be 500 over the square root of 3, I, plus the square root of 3 over 2 times 500 over the square root of 3, J, which is 250 over the square root of 3I plus 250j. And t sub 2 is going to give you exactly the same thing. The only difference is that you end up with a negative 250 over the square root of 3I plus 250j. Webassign will take these two answers, 250 over the square root of 3I plus 250j, and negative 250 over the square root of 3I plus 250j. It will accept these, but the instructions do say to round to two places, so that would be 144.34I plus 250j, and negative 144.34I plus 250j. And there you have it.